Well, I just don't know how I feel about making this video. It's about my grandfather, my mother's father, who I feel deserves to be memorialized in some way. But I also don't know if I'm qualified to make this video, if that makes sense. He was a World War II veteran, and a lot of men my age had grandfathers who served in that war. He was one of those men. He was born in 1909. So when the war broke out in the 40s, he was a man already in his 30s. I don't know if he was drafted or if he signed up, but either way, he went to war as an infantryman in the United States Army who served in the Austrian theater. And this is his bayonet. This is his actual bayonet that he carried during that time. And I estimate this to be my prized possession. As a veteran myself, I know that he was probably supposed to turn this back in when he got out. But I think he probably, wanted a keepsake. When I got out, there were a couple of trinkets of gear that I lost. Yeah, that's the ticket. I lost them when I got out. And then I magically found them as soon as I was a civilian. I think it was probably the same situation. This is an M4 bayonet, and it was made to attach to an M1 Garand rifle, which my grandfather would have carried. He passed away in the 90s when I was a teenager. And old age and time had taken its toll on his faculties for the last years of his life. And really, the only times I got to talk to him when he was lucid was during the 80s when I would have been of single digit age. I'm glad that even at that young age, I had enough curiosity about the world to ask him a couple times about the war. He wouldn't tell me much. He told me a couple things. He had definitely spoken highly of a very good friend of his named Whitey. In those days, dudes had crazy nicknames. So in the 40s, yes, Whitey was not a crazy nickname for a dude to have. And that was his buddy, and he was apparently killed in action in my grandfather's presence, and I believe that affected him. And I believe that Whitey must have been a great man for my grandfather to still speak of him all those decades later. I know that my grandfather was hard of hearing in one ear due to some explosions. Combat is loud, man. I don't know if it was due to the incident where his friend perished. And I also don't know much about this particular bayonet other than my grandfather carried it in Austria in World War II. It appears to have been sharpened. I know that he was a knife kind of guy. I remember as a child, he always had on his person a Buck 119 folding knife, which he used to whittle. Not really a thing people do anymore. But he would often sit on his front porch and whittle. Baseball bats, canoes, that sort of thing. He definitely knew how to sharpen a knife. He taught me how to sharpen a knife as a young child. But that's it. May he rest in peace, and thank you, Grandpa, for your service. Good night.